Is the angle good? I think I might.
Yeah, no,
actually get
you're
to
good.
the
You're good. You're gonna, yeah, you're gonna fall. Oh! We did it! We did it! We did it!
I'm alive.
Hey, you beautiful buccaneers, Falcore here. So we see evidence of them all over the lands, and we hear stories about them all the time. But the question remains, who actually were the ancients, and what happened to them? Throughout the lands, cave paintings can be found from the indigenous species from the Sea of Thieves, only known as the Ancients. We do not know if these seas were the same as they are now when they dwelled here, or whether they were responsible for how it is today. But we do know that a long time before our arrival, they lived here and thrived here. Ancient architecture can be found all over the Sea of Thieves. Large stone structures that mostly reside under the water's surface, apart from one area known to us as the Shores of Gold. The Shores of Gold is merely a mysterious name given to it by fables and whispers passed around by pirates in taverns, but to the gold hoarders, it's known as Tribute Peak. It's called this as an elite few of gold hoarders would know the cycle of the Shroud's movement, and occasionally a path would give way for them to sail through, and once there, they would bring tribute to their emperor of sorts, the gold hoarder. But before the gold hoarder found this island and found this lair, it was owned by the Ancients. The name and the purpose of this island is still unknown, but looking at the structures that remain here, this area was obviously of great importance to their civilization. One thing we do know about the Ancients is, like us, they also loved gold and treasure. They would forge it and they would hoard it. Just like us. They even crafted what are known as ancient coins, which proves they had some form of economy. But why did they decide to venture to this island and build a vast underground lair which was big enough to hold thousands and hoard all of their riches? In the wilds, evidence can be found of some form of natural or unnatural disaster. A lot of the flavor text and NPC dialogue talks about a meteor strike that once hit the wilds. Evidence of this can be seen all around the wilds with its sharded rock formations and gloomy ambience. And at Crooked Masts, we can see one of very few cave paintings in the wilds that visualizes this time of apocalypse. What I find interesting though is the emergence of the Kraken. Wait a second. Is the Kraken an alien? It's very possible that this disaster was responsible for what is now the Shroud, and the Ancients fled to this island known as the Shores of Gold, along with their worldly belongings, and created a bunker of sorts to hide from the Shroud as it slowly drew in. It would certainly make sense, as a lot of the island's engravings appear to tell the story of venturing out from these caves and using the Shroud Breaker to retake the lands around the Sea of Thieves. So we can say that if it was a natural disaster that made them flee to this island, it certainly wasn't the thing that killed them all off. Something else was responsible. The Ancients share a similar culture to that of our own world history. The Nords. Much like the Nordic people, they were a tribal civilization that idolized their many gods, had a passion for adventure and discovery, and sailed on ships that were mostly propelled by oars. Much like the Ancients, the Nords hoarded treasure that they had plundered, and forged some of this into talismans or weapons that were offerings to their many gods. But unlike the real world, these forged offerings created by the Ancients actually gave them supernatural powers, such as the Shroud Breaker, earrings that allowed them to communicate with the merfolk, and ancient metals that could not corrode, be broken, or weathered by time. But along their discoveries, they also manifested curses. It is entirely possible that the Ancients were responsible for the Skeleton Curse. And it's also entirely possible that this skeleton curse is what wiped them all out. Karma for dabbling in magics that they knew very little about. Or maybe it was the result of trying to harness the greatest power of all, immortality. Although being a skeleton for eternity is in essence being immortal, it's not exactly a nice way to live. But I think that's far too much of a simple end to their culture. Maybe the ancients eventually found a way to harness the power of immortality, and with such knowledge and such power at their disposal, it would be something that would need to be protected out of sight from prying eyes and away from those who wish to harness it for their own agenda. Maybe the ancients were not wiped out at all. Maybe they just found a way to keep their findings secret away from these lands, in safety, and one day, when the time is right, they will return.
That's it for today, folks. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, then please hit that like button. And if you really like the video, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell so you're always notified when I upload. And if you're looking for ways to support me, please head over to my Patreon page where I offer tiers that give you perks for your support. Link is in the pinned comments below. Until next time, take care of yourself and happy sailing. Bye bye.